You're in a staff meeting and somebody says, hey, we just need to stay faithful to what God's called us to. And everybody nods. It sounds so spiritual, but you're sitting there thinking, what we're doing isn't working anymore. And you're stuck wondering, am I just being stupid? Am I being impatient? Or are they just being stubborn? Here's the thing that nobody talks about. Sometimes what looks like biblical perseverance is actually fear dressed up in spiritual language. And if that sounds familiar, we're going to talk about it today right here on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. Hi there, my name's Todd Rhoades. I'm your host, and I am one of the co-founders over at chemistrystaffing.com. You'll check us out today at chemistrystaffing.com. There's a huge difference between faithful endurance and foolish resistance. It's really a fine line. So we're going to talk about that today. Biblical perseverance versus stubborn resistance. Real perseverance is mission-focused, not method-focused. Jesus never changed his mission, but he constantly adapted his methods. He preached in synagogues until they kicked him out, and then he moved to the hillsides. Same gospel, different strategy. Stubborn resistance, on the other hand, confuses the how with the why. Here's what stubborn resistance says. It says, this is how we've always done it. And then it puts the stamp on it and calls that faithfulness. And here's where a lot of churches that I see get stuck because they drift into this kind of gridlock. You have that one staff member who quotes, let us run with endurance, the race that's set before us, every time some kind of change comes up, and they've turned perseverance into a shield against really anything that they find uncomfortable. The youth pastor who won't adapt programming because relationships are timeless. The worship leader who resists new songs because the old hymns have staying power. Executive pastor who blocks system updates because if it ain't broke, we don't need to fix it. Meanwhile, all of your effectiveness is just quietly eroding over time. Now, their heart is usually in the right place. They genuinely want to honor God, and they want to stay faithful. But I think the problem is a lot of times it's really easy for you, it's really easy for me to actually confuse faithfulness to God with faithfulness to methods. Biblical perseverance asks, what is God calling us to accomplish? And then it asks, what's the best way to get there right now? It holds the mission with a closed fist and the methods with an open hand. Paul persevered in preaching the gospel, but he changed his approach constantly. To the Jews, he became like a Jew. To Gentiles, he adapted again. Same calling, flexible methods. True perseverance in ministry means enduring through the hard work of change, not avoiding it. Your resistant staff member isn't necessarily being rebellious. They might be scared that change means their contribution doesn't matter anymore, or they've seen too many other vision casts that fizzled out after 6 months. Sometimes resistance is actually protection from past disappointment. So, address the fear, not just the behavior. And here's your bottom line for today. Biblical perseverance is staying faithful to what God has called you to do, but not always to how you've always done it. Remember, the goal isn't change for change's sake. That's never the goal. The goal is faithfulness that's willing to evolve, and your team needs to know the mission is steady, even when the methods shift. Thanks for listening. I hope this has been helpful to you today. Maybe your church is dealing with this and you'd just like to talk through it with somebody. I'd love to have that conversation with you about your church, see if there's any way that we can help. We work with a lot of churches on helping them with culture and staffing and healthy church staff initiatives. And if there's any way I can be of service to you, please reach out. Love to hop on a Zoom call with you for a half hour and just hear your story and see if there's any way we can help. You can reach out to me anytime. podcast@chemistrystaffing.com. And I hope you'll join me again right here tomorrow. We're here every Monday through Friday on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. So just you and me. Let's make a date for tomorrow, and I'll see you then.